Hey guys, 𝗬𝗘𝗄𝗚 here, and it's Tutorial Tuesday.
Tutorial Tuesday!
In today's tutorial, I'm going to be covering what seems to be a pretty common problem on YouTube. And what is that? It's how to increase your view time on your videos. Now, if you're catching me early on in my YouTube career, you might be looking down at my subscriber count or my YouTube views right now and saying, what the heck does this guy know about getting people to watch videos for longer? Well, let me address that concern real quick. I have actually been in this industry, the marketing industry, the video industry, for over 10 years now, and I've helped tons of clients gain web traffic and build a YouTube presence for their brand. It wasn't actually until mid-December of 2018 that I decided to brand myself and brand my own YouTube channel. And when I started that, I only had 20 subscribers on the channel I started with. So mid-December until now, you can see how far I've grown this channel that you're on now. And you might think that's a lot, you might not think it's much, but if you do think it's a lot, then here's the 6 tips that I use to get to that point.
Number 1.
Use good or better lighting than what you currently have. You can see that I'm using this light here. I have another light over this direction, and I actually have that light back there behind me. I'm using that as a practical lamp to light that space, but really there's another light I have over here on the side that's lighting that area. If you can't afford fancy lighting, you can always shoot next to a lamp, a window, or you can even shoot outside. The only thing is, if you shoot outside, be mindful that your shot may become overexposed from too much sunlight, and if that's the case, that's just as bad as having bad lighting to begin with, so you don't want to do that.
Number 2.
Use a gimbal instead of going handheld. Right off the bat, you're just making your footage look that much better, that much more professional, that much more enticing to watch. And the more enticing your video is to watch, the longer people are gonna watch it. If you can't afford a gimbal, you can always go with a tripod, or you can even put your camera down on a stack of books or a stack of wood or something like that. And that's just gonna make your video that much more professional, just from being still. If you go with that method, just remember you always want your camera to be eye level or above eye level in order for that to work. Because if you go under your eye level, you're gonna be shooting up your nose a little bit. And number 1, that is very unflattering to you, so you're gonna hate it. And number 2, your viewers are gonna look at it and say, whoa, look at that. Anyway, at the end of the day, if you have to go with a handheld shot and you don't have access to a gimbal, just try to keep your hands as steady as possible. Sometimes what I do is I'll hold up the camera and I'll take a deep breath as I'm shooting, and I'll hold that breath while I'm shooting the shot that I'm trying to get. That's if I'm totally handheld. Sometimes I even do that with my gimbal, so it's not completely impossible to shake with a gimbal, just so you know.
Number 3.
Guys, this one's really important. You have to fabricate and plan your ideas out before you shoot. Believe it or not, it is insanely hard to jump in front of the camera and just start spitballing whatever it is that's on your head and be able to stay on topic and stay focused about whatever your keywords and your key title is going to be for your video. Trust me, I've tried it and it didn't work out many times. If you go back, and like I said, I've only been doing this for about a month and a half, so if you even go back to some of the videos I've already done, I thought I could do it because I'm pretty good at talking. Look at me, I'm going off right now and I'm going on a tangent. That's what happens when you try to go ahead and spitball instead of writing it out. And I'm not actually even going to cut this because I want you to see what happens when a good talker gets in front of a camera and starts trying to talk about an idea and stay focused. It's very hard.
Number 4.
And speaking of planning out topics, you have to choose one and stick to it. That's why it's so important to write your ideas out before you start shooting. Nothing is going to lose a viewer quicker than if you have a title about the prettiest bird and they're watching that video and you start talking about bringing your kids to the grocery store and buying them SpaghettiOs and how they drop the can. Trust me, somebody is going to click off that video very fast.
Number 5.
So this one is a suggestion if you have access to some editing software that may be a little more advanced than, say, iMovie or Movie Maker or something like that. If you have the ability to speed up your videos when things are starting to linger, you may want to try that. For example, I was asked by a girl to review one of her videos, and this video was about decluttering her life. And while she was talking, her topics were great, she was funny, she was entertaining, her lighting was great, her audio was good, but when it came time to actually decluttering the room, I watched it in real time happen. And so I suggested to her that if she had access to software to edit with, that she should speed up those times. So like, boom, you see her cleaning up t-shirts and pants and shorts, she's picking all these things up, she's doing it really fast. And in the middle of that, after say 2 or 3 seconds of this speed ramp, she could stop, address the camera, say something interesting, and then boom, go back into that speed ramp of her cleaning up her room. And that would make that video and that section of the video so much easier to watch, so much more entertaining to watch, And I would kind of be hanging on a thread like, oh, what's the next stop that she's going to say? That's something that you should keep in mind when you're editing your own videos. Between that and some B-roll shots, you can make your video that is about a rock an entertaining video to watch.
Number 6.
Speaking of B-roll, that brings me into my last topic that I'm going to want to talk about for gaining longer view times. If you're somebody who talks directly to the camera for a while and don't add any B-rolls, you don't add any cuts, it lingers, and it's really hard and really difficult to keep somebody engaged in watching your video if you're directly talking to them but never cutting away to anything. So keep B-roll ideas ready to go when you're editing and when you're shooting and you're talking to the camera. Just think of these things that you could be adding in to make people be able to see what you're talking about. There's nothing better than seeing what somebody's saying as they're saying it. My last thought on that is just keep in mind what keeps you engaged in the video and what are some things that that person's doing that makes you watch it continuously. Try using some of those ideas in your own video. And I'm not saying copy these people, but at least try throwing B-roll in, throwing some time ramps in, do a couple editing techniques. See if that's what gets people to watch videos longer. And you can look at all this stuff in your YouTube analytics. So that's it, guys. That's my 6 tips to keeping longer viewer attention on YouTube. The bottom line is content. You have to come up with some good content in order to keep the viewer. If you have bad content to start, you're kind of just throwing rocks into the wind. Is that a saying? Is that one of those things? It's got to be one of those things. Last thing I want to address real quick is that I am making tutorials for Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. So if that's something that you're interested in learning, just try and find them on my YouTube channel somewhere. I don't know when this video is actually getting posted, so I don't know if they exist yet or not. Hopefully they do. If not, down in the description, there is a full post of about 12 to 14 questions that I've answered for many, many other people in pretty deep detail on other ways that you can grow your YouTube channel, and I will eventually cover all those topics in videos as well. If I haven't covered them yet and you can't find those videos, that link to this clickable book, it's like an ebook kind of thing, is down in the description below. So maybe give that a check out. You might find it interesting. It's got tons and tons and tons of great info to help you guys grow your channels, and I hope you guys stick around because I want us all to grow together. So until I see you guys next time, don't forget,
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.